Welcome back to Mini Punches, episode number 5, the supplementary episode to the Soft Punches podcast, where I interview people I find interesting. I'm your host, Mitchell Page. Thank you for viewing, watching, listening, and subscribing, whatever platform you're on. And I have a very special guest for you today. He's a good friend of mine. He's the biggiest, backiest person I know. He's Team Canada's biggest miss out for how sweet his hands is, and he's the #1 home aquaculturist in all of Toronto. Ladies and gentlemen, Austin Huynh.
Not that special, man. It's all good. Thanks for the intro. I'm honored to be on here.
That's great, man. Yeah, so what I want to talk about today is a little bit of the at-home aquaculture and aquariums, because I have the commercial side of it, so I'm really curious. I'd like the at-home side of it.
Yeah.
A little bit of volleyball, but more specifically, volleyball is as an adult and starting post college age.
Yeah, that's good.
I guess that kind of applies for any sport, really.
Yeah.
And then a little bit around your YouTube experience, because I did watch your catalog on YouTube before this.
Big fan.
But yeah, the first question I have is very simple. It's just what is, I put at-home aquaculture, aquariums.
Yeah. So it's funny you refer to everything as aquaculture, because I guess that's where you started and all you know. But for aquariums, it's very much an at-home thing. I think at-home aquaculture, some people might call hydroponics sometimes. It depends what you're doing, really. But hydroponics involves growing vegetables and stuff outside of the water, fueled by the fish waste. So I guess that's kind of close to aquaculture. Sometimes people eat the fish, some people don't. Requires a pretty serious setup though. But at-home aquariums, I'd probably just describe as mostly ornamental. It's all just there for aesthetically pleasing stuff. Depends what you're into. Obviously, when people start out, they'll kind of just get into whatever looks cool, maybe some fish for the kids and stuff like that. But as you go deeper and deeper into the hobby, there's so many different sections. There's full out reef tanks, there's saltwater, there's underwater aquarium plants, which is mostly what I'm into. Just regular fish, there's all sorts of stuff. So yeah, it's pretty contrasting, I think, to aquaculture, where everything is strictly for efficiency, whereas everything in the aquarium usually is typically for the aesthetics, right? I'll spend $40 on the inlet and outlet of my filter just to look better, and stuff like that. So those are I guess some major differences, but I'm super curious about the commercial side too.
Yeah, because like you said, commercial side, it's very all the stuff, all your downpipes and everything's very just rudimentary PVC. It's not very aesthetic. I think where some of the similarities lie is we'll use an algae run to help clean the water. So there is a little bit of a tie-in. So the site I worked on, it was a freshwater site. So we'd pull from the river all of our water, and then they would go in our tanks, and obviously the fish will waste in the tanks and will feed. And then that water cycles through and runs through a treatment system, and that gets treated with the UV lights on its way through, and then it's got this run that has a bunch of algae in it, and then it gets filtered through the biomass and run through UV again, and then shipped back into the river. So we're only our water waste is essentially our water waste is about 5% loss, but 95% return. So we're not actually using that much water. So I think some of the similarities could be just it's a commercial based self-contained system where it treats itself, and that's where I think the similarity is for home aquariums, right? Because you said you're really into the plants, and I'm sure certain fish are gonna complement the plants well, just in the biocycle of the plant.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure we deal with a lot of the same stuff, especially when dealing with the phases of nitrogen, when fish are just peeing and pooping, creating tons of ammonia, and end of the day, that's what has to get processed at the end of it. When you said aquaculture to me, I was imagining giant fishnet in the ocean kind of thing. I didn't realize it was indoor. Yeah. Yours was an indoor facility?
I worked on both. So I worked on a sea site that was also a big net in the water, which is, that one's a little more you just growing brood stock for slaughter and sell it to Loblaws. Sometimes we'll spawn, but the freshwater sites are a lot more for spawning the fish. So we have to really focus on hardness of the water, softness, salt levels, oxygen levels, nitrogen off, and a lot of, I feel it's just on a bigger scale. Your measurements, you have one control box that tells you the O2 of every tank, whereas you just have your one aquarium with the O2, right?
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to aquariums, it depends what kind of setup you got going on. I've been on the most extreme end of the hobby, which I would say is reef keeping, when you're keeping corals and stuff. that like usually you'd be really on top of. They have like machines that go into the tank and stuff, but you're talking like thousands of dollars for something that's like hobby level, right?
Yeah.
So I think what's like hard about comparing almost is because like there's revenue behind like aquaculture. There's nothing that really justifies like spending big bucks on something that's like for a hobby, unless obviously like you have tons of disposable income and like it's a big passion of yours, which at one point in time like I would basically just like spend all the money that I was making at the aquarium shop. For background, I was working at an aquarium shop called Big Al's. It's a franchise slash probably the biggest franchise slash corporate retailer for fish related stuff, and probably the only, to be honest, at least in Canada. But
that's like outside of PetSmart and those other very entry level ones, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so Big Al's is like the specialty side, I guess, of like most of the aquarium stuff. They do like reptiles and stuff too. But yeah, basically every dollar I made at the aquarium was just pouring back into my hobby, and I was like 17 at the time, mind you. So, but it did introduce me to some really cool people, some like really cool business opportunities. Like I used to go to people's houses and clean their fish tanks, basically what we call like aquarium servicing. We would like deliver, set up, and stuff like that. So yeah, it was like pretty cool times, especially at 17. Like I wasn't driving at the time too, so I had a business partner that was basically just like
driving you to your appointments.
Yeah, basically. But like he helped a lot too. He knew what he was doing as well, of course. But yeah, it was mostly him driving me around and me like coordinating with clients wherever we had to. So
that's cool, man. I didn't know you had your own little business like that.
Yeah, and that's what kind of started me into like doing a little bit of YouTube and stuff too. Because in school, I went to school for marketing. One of our projects was like, build a website and like build a brand behind it and stuff like that. And I chose my own brand to do. I ended up taking it pretty decent. The only reason I kind of got out of that small business that I had was because I started working full time once I finished school. So it was like, well, it's either like full time and I try to juggle this on the side, or I just like lock in on my full time job. And I chose to lock in on the full time job. I passed all my clients to my business partner, and he still does it to this day, actually. So I think he does pretty decently. So I'm a bit envious.
Well, it kind of answers my second question. I was going to ask, like, how did you get into it? But I'm curious, like, what, for like hobby side, when I think of like the aquarium, I compare it really similarly to like the meticulousness and the care that needs to be given towards something like building Gundams or like Warhammer, like a very small, like meticulous thinking task that also incorporates your hands. Yeah. Is that like what, like, it's very therapeutic. I've worked on a few aquariums at home, very simple, like Chinese fighting fish or whatever. Yeah. And, but yeah, it was always like, when I think back on it, I think like how therapeutic cleaning the tank would be and managing all that stuff on a small scale. It gives me, like hobbyist kind of miniature vibes when I think about it. I'm just curious what you get out of like managing the tank. Is it on that level or?
Yeah, I think for me, it's definitely like a therapeutic thing, but it's also like the reward of like rearing fish that are ornamental and like getting them to their full potential. I think that's like mostly what it is, watching the tank mature as it goes on. It's like, you'll kind of, I find with aquarium hobby, like most people at least, will kind of like ebb in and out of the hobby. It's like kind of like, oh, I'm super into it this month, and then next couple months you're out of it, and then back into it the next month. And during that time, like as long as you're doing like regular maintenance and stuff, your tank still progresses without you being like really on top of it. And I think that's the cool part too. It's like, oh, just feed your fish, do a little water change, and then just like fuck off if you want to. But yeah, when you're like really into it, it's like, it's really easy to like upgrade your equipment and like play around with like water parameters. It's like, oh, do I need to add more nutrients into the tank, or do I need to like remove some plants and stuff like that? I think that for the hobby, the most rewarding part is definitely watching the tank progress. And then you get to a point where you're like kind of stale and bored of it, and then you rip the whole thing apart and start again. And that's kind of like the fun part too. Is like, sorry, excuse me. Oh man, I wish that was a bigger one for the mic. But yeah, I think that like starting again all the time, like every like year, maybe 2 years, depends like what kind of tank you have, how much you've invested into it. Like I like that like the equipment is transferable and like the techniques are transferable between like different niches in the aquarium hobby.
Well, I was gonna ask too, like there's obviously levels, like you kind of went on about, like reefs. Reefs would be the hardest to manage for sure. Just a regular like basic at-home fish tank's fairly easy. Just feed your fish, clean the water, like you said.
Yeah.
What's like if you had to give it kind of like a difficulty scale, right? Like if like entry level goldfish and then top level is reef. How would you like describe the scales? And where do you, like you said, you've had experience all over. Where's like your most comfortable scale, or what do you prefer to do with your at-home aquarium?
Yeah. It's funny because like as the scale goes along, I feel like cost goes along with it. So that's definitely like a factor as well. In the beginning, like you might start with like a fighting fish or some goldfish, something really basic and introductory. And I've dealt with like hundreds of thousands of those cases because I worked at the aquarium store and I had like tons of kids coming in and be like, oh, I want to fish for the first time, and then kind of point them in the right direction and stuff. And it's fun to inspire them. And like what was fun about that place too was we had a lot of display tanks that I would take care of. So like just stuff of like examples of like, oh, you can do this or you can do that, and kind of just walk them along and see like, you know, what the next path is or what the next thing is. I'd give the beginning, like in terms of difficulty, I'd give it like a 2 out of 10, honestly. Like aquariums are pretty chill hobby as long as you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
I think it's the learning that's the hard part. It's like there's so much to learn that's like the hard part to get over in the first place, especially with like filtration, like the ammonia cycle and stuff like that. That's the main like hard stuff. It's like, oh, like you can't like just take the tank apart and like wash it with soap, like
Yeah.
So yeah, there's like a learning curve there, but once you understand, it's just feeding the fish and just changing part of the water, not all of the water. It's like boom, you're pretty much like 80% of the way there. The rest of the 20% is all like the nitty gritty stuff.
Yeah.
And then once you get up to like the reef stuff, that's when it's like, now I can't go on vacation without having someone come house sit my fish tank, right? Yeah, so it's like I've been paid like to stop into someone's house every single day just to like measure water parameters and just like fix things accordingly, dose things here, dose things there, check on the fish and stuff like that. So yeah, it gets pretty complex. Like the reef scale, like 100% 10 out of 10 like difficulty, but also again like pretty rewarding, pretty fun. Also probably the nicest version of the hobby. Like reefs, I guess like your standard person would walk in and be much more attracted to a reef tank than they would like a couple of goldfish in a bowl or like a goldfish in a tiny tank, for example. But yeah, like it's tough because I feel like they can almost, like to the average eye, it's like judged almost the same. Yeah. It's like, oh, you have fish there. It's like goldfish. Cool. Oh, you have a Nemo? That's cool. All right.
It's just like, you have no idea.
Yeah. You don't know this tank costed $20,000. Okay.
I had to import this fish from Australia.
Yeah. But we had some crazy customers at Big Al's. Like that person that I went to go take care of his tank every day while he was on vacation. Yeah, I think he spent like around $50,000 on his aquarium, and it was like beautiful, the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And I was so nervous because I was like 18 at the time.
Yeah,
like, I'm basically a kid still. Going to watch this guy's tank, and one of his fish dies while I'm fish sitting. It's obviously not my fault, but to me, I'm like, oh shit, like that's my responsibility, and it died during my care. So I just reached in, I took the fish out, I went to go flush it down the toilet. And when this guy gets back from vacation, he comes into the store to see me. He's like, yo, like, how was it? Like, you know, how's my aquarium and stuff? I'm like, yeah, it was all great. Yeah, everything's good. He's like, oh, have you seen this fish, like a unicorn tang? And I'm like, no, I'm not sure. I don't know what happened to it. He's like, huh, it went missing. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, yeah, I don't know what happened.
Must have got up and walked, man. I don't know.
Yeah, and don't I learn from a coworker who's also taking care of his tank that he has like cameras in front of his tank. Just get like busted, and I'm like 18 years old. He didn't say anything, obviously, because I'm like young and stuff. So yeah, shout out to that guy. Like he was cool about it. But once I learned that he had cameras in the house, he like stopped trusting me to go take care of his tank. So I just like had this like sinking gut feeling every time I saw him. I'm just like, oh fuck, I feel so guilty.
No.
Like,
yeah.
Just hated seeing that guy in the store. But
that happened to me like with a garden. I was just like garden sitting for someone. They went on vacation, and like 4 flowers died, and I just like pulled them up, root out and everything. There's just like spot where 4 flowers are supposed to be, and they're just not there anymore. Yeah. It's like, it's birds. I don't know. Must have, like
so yeah, the birds rooted them up and everything. Like it's crazy. Perfect hole.
That's
yeah. It's funny, like the things you like lie about when you're a kid because you think that you'd get in trouble for it, but it's like realistically now that we're like fully developed, it's like, man, if a kid was watching my tank and something died, obviously it's not his fault.
Yeah,
unless he like nuked
especially
it,
when you're working at like the closest thing I have is like in our research facility. So that's like we have the water doesn't flow through; it just recirculates through like 9 or 10 tanks or something.
Yeah.
And so that's where we're like constantly testing every day. So like different stages of like fish that are in there, we kind of put them all around the same life cycle, but each tank will kind of like, some tanks get a lot of like mature males before other tanks.
Yeah.
And that can mess with the like hardness of the water. And I can't remember what else we were testing for, but biomass is a big one. And we just measured like a bunch of different chemical qualities of the water.
Okay.
And it would change like day to day. So you'd have to like, and again, I'm 18 and I grew up on the fish farms, and I'm like running a full like chemistry lab, testing all this water, trying to like do it properly and try to stay caring about it.
Yeah.
For me, because for me it was like a job, right? Like I'd grow up doing it. It was a job, but there was always a lot of like pressure, especially like I'm sure the reef tank required a lot of like little adjustments. And it's like, oh, do I cut in a bag and a half of salt? Do I cut in a bag and 3/4 of salt? What's my like? It's all on me, and if I put in too much salt, 150 fish are going to die. If I put in not enough salt, 250 fish are going to die. If I put in the right amount, 50 fish are going to die.
Yeah.
Like it's just, I understand like the, and then like fish dying, like, why is the mort count higher? And you're like, Mo. Doug was up there last week. Must have been his counts. I don't know.
Yeah. It's funny, like, it's funny because, for us, like, on a small scale, we'll be working by, like, the grams and the milliliters. I'm sure for you guys, it's, like, a kilo, 2 kilos.
Yeah,
like,
we're working in, like, poundage.
5 pounds, 10 pounds, like, fucking cheeseburgers, whatever. Like, just going in there, but...
Also, the fish we use were pretty, like, they're pretty bold. They're Atlantic salmon that we were growing, so they're pretty durable fish, and they're pretty, like, when they get close to spawning, they go for anywhere from, like, 15 to 50 pounds, depending on the fish.
Yeah, pretty serious.
Yeah. Is there ever, like, I wanted to add, this kind of is a caveat into the next question. Is there ever, like, aquarium spawning, like, or is that just not a thing that happens?
Yeah.
And, like, the question I was going to ask is, have you ever considered growing, like, specialty fish to sell?
Yeah. There were some points where I was kind of considering it, but there's definitely like a scale, like guppies. I don't know if you've heard of guppies, but like they're very like entry level fish for aquarists because it's fun to watch them spawn because they're live bearers.
Right.
So it's like you get like a couple females and a male, and boom, like in like a year you have like 100 of them. Just because they're just like going off and they're just like all inbreeding and stuff, and it's really easy to breed them. So there's like that level where it's like some fish are super easy to breed. They just put them in a bucket with like a bubbler and they would breed. And then there's the other side where some fish have to be in perfect conditions to breed. Like perfect ratio of male to female, perfect pH, perfect everything. So those are usually like the more valuable fish to sell. But the thing is, like, the setup is pretty complex. I'm sure at the aquaculture farm, like you have to separate them by growth stages, right, to some extent.
And then you have to separate them by gender when you sort them for the spawning day.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like kind of like that. You would have to have a pretty complex setup. It's like 4 or 5 tanks, like all different stages and different foods.
Like even for us, we were lucky. Like it was very industrial. So we always had like 2 empty, like full size. I don't even know how big they were. They're like basically a very small lake size tanks, right? So like we had 2 of those extra, fill them with water, and then we'd pull all the fish out, and they'd go into this little bath that knocks them out. We'd sort them by their gender, and then we'd throw them tank by tank, and then you spawn however many females, like pull all the eggs out into the buckets, and then you spawn the males, and then, of course, salmon, they die.
Yeah.
So then you got to get rid of all the morts. But then those, like, selected types of females and selected males, then they're, like, milt, and the eggs will get mixed, and then they'll get put in the egg trays.
Wow.
But it required, like, 4 buildings, a bunch of chemicals, and, like, extra stuff, and, like, a team of 8 people to do it.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty insane. Like, what are like kind of the conditions for the salmon to spawn? Like, is there certain conditions where they're like, okay, like now I'll breed, or is it like the kind of same thing? You throw them in a bucket and they'll eventually breed. Yeah,
it's more like life cycle for them. They're very dependent. Like they run on a 4-year cycle.
Okay.
So at least the fish we were growing, like I think salmon run on 4. Sometimes, like rare occasions, you can get salmon that will spawn twice. Rare though. Like it's very
they usually
low.
Die after, right?
Normally, that's kind of their whole life cycle is a 4-year run. That's why, like, I know you've been looking into the fishing, like the odd years on BC, like Vancouver Island, Campbell River. It's like a huge river. Lots of people come from like Switzerland to fish it.
Oh.
But like the odd years are the banger years, and the even years, because it's just that's how like the spawning had worked, right? Like there must have been something that happened that killed a bunch of fish on an even year, so they had lower spawns. So now every even year there's like less counts. It's either that or it's the reverse, and odd years are bad and even years are good.
Right, right.
But yeah, they work in a 4 year, so we have them from eggs all the way up to their 4th year, and then the only thing, like nothing really is going to prime them for spawning. It's just like it's very like biologically coded. They just come across it very naturally, and like we make sure we have like flow and stuff that'll simulate a river to like trigger their bodies to kind of go into that.
I see.
So the only thing that really changes would be like increase flow in some tanks just to simulate like they're in a river.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I guess that would be kind of similar. It's like certain conditions are kind of met, and then like make sure they're well fed, they feel safe, and then they start breeding. But yeah, like I've never really bred any crazy fish. Some like small ones that might end up like breeding by accident. Like the fish I have right now are like angelfish, and they're known to sometimes pair up, even in just like a regular ornamental setting. But the problem with them pairing up is they become like super territorial. They start like fucking up all the other fish that are in there. So it's like sometimes you don't even want them to breed.
Yeah.
But yeah, breeding setup's a bit complex and a bit time consuming, and I just don't really want to have like 4 or 5 tanks going at once. So
and then
that's the only reason I wouldn't.
Yeah, have your tank split, so you have your selling tank and your keeping tank.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Probably if you like, you seem quite skilled and knowledgeable. I mean, if you could, my sister did seahorses.
Seahorses are crazy, very lucrative.
Yeah,
that's really impressive.
I mean, she was running like an oligopoly on seahorses when she was like 9. I mean, my dad was doing everything, but she got all the profits.
Yeah, just making stupid money at that age.
Yeah,
that's super cool though.
That's kind of everything I have on aquariums. Is there anything else you want to add? Or I guess what's your setup right now? Like, what are you doing right now with your tank?
Yeah, so right now I have a 65 gallon, which is not my favorite size. It's just because the dimensions are kind of weird. It's like 3 foot by 1.5 feet by like 2 feet.
Yeah.
So it's like very tall tank. Usually with aquariums, like you want it like wide and deep. Like the more like a swimming pool it looks, the better.
Yeah.
And like less tall. But at the same time, there's a weird balance because you want it kind of tall because you want it to take up vertical space, especially in a home, right? Like you don't want a fucking swimming pool in the middle of your home.
Yeah.
But that is best for the fish usually, and best for proportions, especially when you're like looking at it from up front. If there's like a lot of depth, that looks better.
Yeah.
Just because you can like put some decorations in a certain way and like have some breaching the water and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a dimension that I've never really worked with before, and right now I'm just into plants. So I'm just doing like plants. Right now I just have like 3 angelfish and a few shrimp running around, but that's about it for now while it cycles out, just because I wanted some stuff to survive the cycle. Didn't really when I was younger it was like wild. I had so much gear at home that like I could just throw anything in and make it work, but like now I'm just like scraping by,
rebuilding the foundation of gear.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but agreement with the wifey to just keep it to whatever the cabinet fits, So
whatever the cabinet fits, yeah.
So I've got to be careful. But yeah, at home I've got like multiple trash bins of just like equipment, and just spent a lot in the hobby and gave it all to my old business partner.
Yeah,
I was like, you know what, like here, just take it all. I'm sure it's of use to you. So he's making good use of it now.
Hell yeah, man.
But I wish I still had some.
Yeah, happy I got to dig into that because I know it's like a big part of you.
Dude, yeah, it was weird. Yeah, I've always been into fish as a kid because my dad always had fish tanks around growing up. So going to the fish store with him was like a really big like nostalgic thing for me.
Yeah.
So whenever I go to like the same fish stores we used to go to when I was a kid, like out in Mississauga and stuff, like just waves of memories hit, and it's like super fun, super nice. But he never got into the hobby as deep as I did.
Yeah.
Obviously because I started working in an aquarium, it's like, well, like now I have to. Yeah. But I always say this, like that was my favorite job ever, and if money wasn't a thing, I'd still be there. Yeah, it was an amazing job. Met a lot of amazing people, sick managers. I was like a kid at the time. I'd just go into work hungover and stuff, and it didn't really matter because I wasn't doing much. I'd just walk around, feed some fish,
help some people pick out some new gear.
Yeah, exactly.
Easy peasy.
Yeah. So we had like dry goods and like fish room. So I was like on the dry goods side, but I'd bounce back and forth kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, dry goods was like you had to know everything about like the latest equipment. So I'd just like work, go home, like grind YouTube videos to like learn about all the new gear and stuff, and like get it ordered in and try selling it. And it was pretty cool. I will say I wasn't much of a salesperson. I was a bit too honest to the customers. I was like, don't buy this. You don't really need it, but you do need this. And like people would come back because they appreciate that.
Yeah.
But I knew some guys that were fucking killers. Like they would just go in there. This one guy, he was like the manager of the Whitby store. His name's Andrew. Andrew was kind of like became a GM and would go around to all the stores. And when he came by, he was like ringing up the numbers. And at the time, like it was funny because we didn't understand like okay, like making sales and making money and stuff, right? We were just like, yeah, we just want to be like honest people. This guy was greasy. He would just
numbers.
Yeah, just numbers. Like someone would come in for like just like the most basic setup that would typically they walk out, they spend maybe like 150, 200 for like full setup for like a beginner, maybe 300, 400 sometimes. This guy would make them walk out with like a rack, like 1,000. And it's just like, what just happened? Like this guy just walked in for like a couple small fish and he walked out like $1,000 of gear.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a killer.
Goldfish tank, you're gonna need like the tank sucker 8,000, bro.
Yeah, like the turbo glizinator, like
Turbo glizinator.
yeah, just the craziest stuff, like selling every single chemical that you could possibly need for any kind of setup for like a goldfish. I'm just like, wow. Don't know how he does it. Well, I guess it's easy because for people that don't know about the hobby, and especially people with like disposable income, like don't know any better.
Yeah.
They just walk in and they're just like, all right, like teach me what's good, and you just get rinsed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really cool, man. Now on to the mutual interest, I think.
Yeah.
I guess simple question again.
Yeah.
Why did you start playing volleyball?
Yeah, that was yeah, that kind of just happened. I don't know. Hard to describe. It's like when I was grade 10, that's when I first like touched a volleyball because one of my friends, Chris, he went to this like Korean church that had the sickest gym, sick private gym. And
Okay, no, but seriously, though, some churches have some sick equipment in
dude,
gyms.
Like why does the church has to like? Why does the pastor have to pull up in a limo? Like what's going on there?
Jesus got to practice his layups, man.
Yeah. And like, I will say like the church environment seems kind of cool. Like, did you go to church or anything?
No, I've never. The closest thing I've been to a Sikh temple for a birthday. I've never been to a church.
Sikh temple is a crazy one.
Yeah, it was pretty sick though. Dude, the feast was nuts.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, yeah, when I'd go to temples as a kid, like they'd always feed you, like it would be nice. But with the Buddhist temples, it's always vegetarian. The food was still good, but it's like, yeah, it was just noodles and vegetables, pretty much. Yeah, pretty stereotypical. But yeah, back to volleyball. Yeah, he had me out, and he kind of was like teaching me the basics. Like the very first thing I could hit was a quick. Just because like I didn't have to time it.
Seemed familiar.
Yeah. He was like basically like go for an alley oop. I'm like, and then it rung in my head. I'm like, okay, I understand alley oop. So I would just like throw the ball, run up to him. I'm like, all right, it's lob time, and just like start jamming some quicks. And that was like kind of the beginning.
Yeah.
But I didn't touch a volleyball for a long time after that because I got back into basketball like pretty heavy. And then COVID hit and everything was outdoors. So one day I was just going out to play basketball, but I passed by like this church field that was like really close to my house, really, really close. And a few of my friends, maybe you've met Martin. But yeah, like a few of those guys were just outside. I didn't know them that well, but I kind of knew of them. They were playing grass volleyball outside, and I just asked if I could join. And then, yeah, from there, I just basically started playing volleyball every day during COVID. Like, we'd basically go out like sun up to sundown.
Yeah.
So I play like 5-6 hours of volleyball every day outside, and it was like terrible volleyball. Don't get me wrong. Like, it was just like, so if someone could jump serve, it was over. Like, there was nothing.
There's no passing.
Yeah,
There's
there was just nothing. Yeah, we would just like kind of mess around. So I learned a little bit. There were some like better people there, like some people that have gone on to play like pretty decent 9-man that I know from Vaughan, and they were kind of like the teachers to me as well.
Yeah.
So they were playing in high school though, so they already had like background experience and knew a lot of techniques and stuff before I did. So yeah, it's really hard, I think, to, especially when you're like younger and arrogant and you've played other sports and you want to get into a new sport, it's really hard to be open-minded about what to learn. Yeah. I think so. Like for me, I never thought to even like ask people like, yo, how do I do this better or how do I do that better? Because you don't know what you don't know. Like you don't know what you're not good at.
Exactly what you
right?
mean. Yeah.
So it's like even if I were to ask you now, I'm like, oh, like if I wanted to get into fighting, like what kind of style should I start with? And like I wouldn't know, any better. Like I wouldn't even know what to ask you, right? And
But I
like,
think now, like now that you have that experience, you'd know. Like we've gone over that before, and I've told you, and you're like, oh, okay.
yeah,
Like now I think, because I know for me too, like that volleyball made me very aware of. Doesn't matter like if you're athletic or if you're good, like something that requires like the skill of volleyball and the athleticism of volleyball, you're going to be shit at until you practiced it.
Yeah.
And it's really like, I think the biggest skill I've taken from it is like listening to people who are better than me, who are
Yeah.
obviously better than me, and then
Yeah.
applying what they're telling me because they've been through it.
yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think for me, it was like, I didn't even really start learning until like after COVID,
Yeah.
even like after I stopped playing with those people, to be honest.
Yeah.
Once I came to this area, I moved in here and I met Steve and Kim, and that's like when I really started to grow. When,
Yeah.
like I met those guys, and like in the beginning, I already thought I was pretty decent, especially at setting. And like looking back, I'm just like, wow, that's fucking cringe that I thought I was decent. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's kind of how I got started. Like how did you get started?
I watched Haikyuu, bro. I watched Haikyuu through the pandemic, and then I think we probably moved to this area around the same time. I think you might have been here a year before me.
Maybe.
And then I was like,
I think I got here 2022,
oh,
2023.
I got here in 22, but I didn't start playing until 23, I think. I think, yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe we moved in around the same time, right at the end of the pandemic.
We might have been 2021, actually. I don't even know. I can't remember at this point.
fair enough.
Yeah, I'm going senile, bro.
It's okay, man. Me too. We're getting up there, buddy.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
But yeah, I watched the show, and like we just come out of the pandemic. I think it was like maybe a year after the pandemic was over. But like we'd just come out, and like it was at that time when it was really hard to. That is going on the cast. All that belly. It was really hard to like do anything. Like I wasn't at a gym anymore. I wasn't like being active at all. And I just like, I kind of wanted something different. Cause like I always approach fighting with a very competitive first mindset.
Yeah.
And like, I wanted something where I could compete, but something that wasn't so like, if you don't compete, you're shit, like, I also wanted to like learn a new skill. It was really good for the brain. And like, honestly, like watching Haikyuu led me to watch like VNL and professionals.
Yeah.
Nice little siren. And then like watching the professionals is what got me to go to the community center for the first time. And I was like, I'm not going to be anywhere near that good, but like the flow of the game looks nice. I'm athletic. I know I can learn it. And so I just like went out and I sucked, dude. Like
Everyone does, obviously.
that was my first time playing ever though. Like I think the first day you and I met, like I still remember it. I was wearing Naruto shorts or something.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was my like third time ever playing volleyball.
That's insane. Honestly, like, it's pretty crazy because I thought you were pretty decent even like from the start, which is like nice, that you had kind of like an athletic base or like a quick learning base. I had this interesting conversation with Steven the other day while we were at the gym. It's like learning as an adult is more about like unlearning that rather than like learning. Of course you're learning still, but it's like unlearning the bad habits, right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, like what do I do wrong that I could correct? For me, it was like all in unlearning journey because I knew how to jump. Like I did jump programs and like jumped a lot for basketball, and I was pure like 1 foot jumper. So like coming into volleyball, I'm like, man, transitioning to 2 foot was so hard.
Yeah.
It was like, what do you mean I don't just like throw myself into the net? Like, yeah. So it was like,
yeah, the jump is very like scientific in a way, like the way
Super.
you stop and like your weight transfer and everything, because
Super.
you got to take that like heavy sprinting momentum and transfer it in like a J shape upwards. So
Yeah.
it's a very different jump. Like we used to do jumps, nothing crazy, but like for lacrosse, we used to do a lot of like in field, you do a lot of like 1 foot jumps, like jump shots.
Yeah.
So like I was the same thing. Like I was very 1 foot because those jump shots come off like 1 foot and then you just rip it off the side, right?
Yeah.
And so understanding like the science, that's what I mean. Like the science of finesse in volleyball is insane.
It is insane. Yeah, there's so much to it, and like one thing that's still like stuck with me from basketball is like the goofy footedness, because you would always like take off with your left foot for a layup, right? So it's like now I can't like not make my left foot the dominant foot approach, and yeah, I think it like hinders my game for hitting, especially because I'm always like approaching goofy footed. I'm definitely not getting high as I should be, but it's just like so hard to break. Like I can break it during hitting lines, and then as soon as I get in a game, I'm just like,
Your body's just like
yeah,
designed to jump that way now.
yeah,
Like
yeah. It's so hard. It's so hard, and like it's nicer to learn that it's wrong when you're new, but at that point I was just too deep, and now like I'm definitely still on the path of trying to correct it, but if I don't, like, I'm not upset about it. Like we're not going pro or anything here. Like,
well, your skill set's tossing the ball around.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't need to have the right footedness for that. Yeah.
So you are a extremely competitive person. Respectfully.
Yeah. Yeah, I can get like that.
What about volleyball scratches? Like, at what point, I guess, did you transition to starting to play competitively? Because, like, obviously we're not talking pro. We're not talking, like, anything with sponsorships on the teams. But, like, I find something so beautiful when, like, you, me, a bunch of other friends, we play the most competitive we can. And, like, it's hard for me to describe what itch that scratches in my brain. But I'm curious, like, do you just have that compete inside you, or is it competing at volleyball that's what drives you to be competitive?
No, I think competing inside has always been kind of a thing, but like I think it's mostly with sports. Like I think from basketball, like I was a big chirper in basketball, like huge, big time. I chirp all the time. And I got it from like going to Humber College. It was like rough games, like rough pickup basketball games, and everyone's chirping. It's like if you're not chirping, you're an absolute pussy. So it's like it's actually kind of hard, like not to chirp during volleyball. It's
Dude,
like
there's sometimes, like lacrosse is basically just, if no one knows, it's land hockey. So big chirper, especially on the defensive side. Like
especially. And volleyball, the thing is, it's such a team game that it's like when you're chirping a bit too much, you could tilt your team. Whereas like basketball, if like the culture is different. It's like if you're chirping, you're hyping your team up. Like everyone's like, "Fuck yeah!" Like get that motherfucker. But like in volleyball, it's like everyone's so nice. It's like, yo, chill.
Stop. You're making us look bad.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I've noticed that too, man. Like everyone is very like, sometimes you get heated about something and like your mindset will affect the 5 other people on the floor so intensely.
Yeah, big time.
Like,
if you're the only one being competitive on your team, you will fuck your whole team.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I've had to learn to peel back and like, especially like we've played in that league together where like we've played with some beginners, like including my girlfriend Vivian, and Vivian was not a fan of the competitiveness, obviously, because she's just trying to learn. She's there to have fun, right?
Yeah.
And like me and you are like, hit that fucking ball, baby, hit that shit. Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh yeah, like new formation just for the playoffs, and like obviously everyone's like, what the fuck? But
we were doing a formation.
yeah, and we're just like, yeah. Me and Mitch on the left side. So fuck
also,
everyone
we're talking
else.
in like codes. Yo, put it at the 3 spot on the inside.
Yeah. Just like fast inside, and we just bang as hard as we can, and we still lost to like one dude basically. So just goes to show how much it affects your team. Like,
yeah. Well, it's also like, I think too, it's weird. Like volleyball, I've noticed, if you can't bring players that are too good to like a true intermediate run, because they will always lose. I don't know what the curse is. There's something about like the spontaneousness of a team that just understands the basics that fucks up a team that's trying to play a system.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've noticed that, but like whenever I play with Kyle and we like run system, teams that like on paper are not as good as our team will crush us, because there's just something about the like unpredictableness and the spontaneity.
Yeah.
And they're just free to play and they're having fun, but we're like locking it down and trying to be so competitive, and like, we'll have the fun after we get the W, but then we just shoot ourselves in the foot, don't get the W, and nobody has any fun at any point in the run.
Yeah. I think it's funny you say that. I think for like anyone at like an intermediate level or like early intermediate, especially when they're just learning formation, they don't know how to play defense, right? So it's like, whereas like if you're not playing rotation, it's very easy to like draw the lines of the zones and just be like, okay, like people might still collapse on top of each other, but at least they're getting the ball up, right? Whereas like once you start playing formation, especially in early intermediate, balls drop all the time because no one knows who's supposed to get what.
Yeah.
And I think that's like where it's kind of hard, and like that's where it's like, oh shit, like this is kind of messy. And then once you start playing system and you go back, like you're just like, what the fuck am I doing?
Like, I hate this.
Yeah, it's like really hard, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny because Marcus just finished up a beach league with like Julie and like another like varsity setter and like another like ex-pro player, basically something close to that at least, I think, from what he described. And they played on a beach team, 6 of them, and they would just get spanked by like absolute beginners, right? And it's just like it's a different domain, like different experience. It's hard to like play down. I love playing down now, personally, like because it's just like kind of fun. Like you fuck around, you
Saturday
don't care.
mornings, baby.
Yeah. You just don't care, right? So there's there's no pressure. You're just like fucking around. To an extent, it's like kind of bad because you're not even trying to get better or anything.
Yeah.
If anything, you develop worse habits. You're just trying to bounce it because you're used to bouncing it on 60-year-olds. So it's like,
Feels good, man.
yeah,
Listen.
it gets the blood going, especially Saturday morning, man. Like, love bullying old people, but yeah, definitely makes me worse.
Yeah. Dude, I love, like, I also enjoy, because I think what I'm good at is, like, I'm good at learning, like, sports. I think that's something I've always been honest with myself. Like, I always said, like, if you give me 2 weeks to learn a sport, I'll be better than anybody else that's had 2 weeks to learn the sport. That's something I, like, pride myself in. So I advanced pretty quickly at the level I was invited to. Not saying I was the best at every level I played at, but I was invited to higher levels really fast. So, like, I went through that whole, like, I could jump, I could hit, and that was about it.
Dude, you could pass. Like, I feel like
I pass now.
Yeah. You like speed ran the volleyball system. It was like, for me, it was like, I feel like honestly a lot of people in this area, they learned pretty quickly. Like in the past 3 years, like the people that we know personally have all gotten like so much better.
Yeah. You know what's funny though? It's really hard to tell because we play with them all the time, right?
Yeah.
We're all getting better kind of as that core group.
Yeah.
Some people faster than others, some people not,
Definitely.
But like the whole group together is kind of coming up. And then when we go back and we play on like a Saturday morning, that's when you can really tell how far along it's gone. Because I remember Saturday mornings in my first year and I was like, oh, this is like fun. I'm having to run around. And now Saturday mornings, like we're just, it's meme time.
yeah, it's meme time or like kill yourself time.
It's fucking.
Yeah. I think that's the interesting thing about like being an adult and like understanding that like how you learn.
Yeah.
I feel like because this was another thing I was talking about with Steven, when there's people who are learning like volleyball as kids, like it's like a clean slate, right? They're not coming from another sport, or maybe they do, but they get the right fundamentals from such an early age with coaching that it's like all they have to do when they get older is just tweak the tiniest little things. Like people like Marcus and stuff like that, right? Who come in the scene and they're like already so good. They just have to make like micro adjustments.
I heard a really good like analogy for this. I was talking to someone who trains like young judo athletes, and he said like, and he also taught language. I think he teaches people Russian, and he's like, learning early, it takes you longer to understand what the fundamental is. But like if you imagine your brain kind of like an onion, right? He said the brain's an onion, and as you get older, the layers get added. So if I can plant the seed and like the bottom layer of the onion, by the time it's grown, like it's ingrained in your brain.
Yeah.
Versus like learning, I'm going to have to dig a hole into your brain and then plant the seed.
Yeah.
So like that was like the analogy he gave me, and I was like, holy shit, that makes a lot of sense.
That is wise. Yeah. Very wise.
It was because he teaches
Master
language,
Oogway
right?
shit. Yeah.
Yeah. It was very like the peach seed.
Yeah.
He's like, imagine, teaching someone Russian as a kid and English. They're going to learn both languages and be fluent.
Yeah.
But if I try to teach an adult who's only spoke English his whole life Russian, I'm going to have to dig down to the stem of his brain and plant all the seeds, right?
Yeah.
It was like, that was a really great analogy because I love coaching. Like I enjoy watching people get better. That's what I like doing.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Like I feel like coaching kids would be pretty fun. Like definitely like hard because you'd have to be so patient. But if like, I don't know, if like someone that we know who is not the most patient person can teach kids, then like, why can't we do it?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Hey, I'm just saying, bro, you got about 8 years before you got to coach kids. I've already signed you up, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm ready. I think it'd be fun, but I don't even think that like we're at a level where we can say like, I'm ready to be a coach.
There's no way.
So like in the next 8 years, we got to grind.
Yeah, I'd be good emotionally.
Yeah,
I'd be a happy coach that brings juice boxes, but skill wise, no.
Yeah, yeah. I mean. Like, question for you, like, how are you feeling about, like, volleyball and progression in general? Like, are you still, like, fiery passionate, or are you kind of happy where you are? Like,
right now I'm kind of in a state of discovery because, like, I'm not happy where I'm at. I want to be better, and I've been really focusing on, like, because I have the knee injury, so my jumping's got a lot weaker. I've been trying, like, when I play with Steven, he just stays in front row, I'll stay in the back row, and I only work on my passing. So I'm trying to take off, like, that's the one thing I could really do and stood out with was jumping, touching high, and hitting the ball sometimes in a really good spot. But like working strong defensively, like I don't even want to hit until my defense is up to par with where like my hitting is. And not that any skill is at an advanced level, but I just want to bring it up so that I'm balanced. And then from there, I want to bring both skills up together.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm kind of in a state of discovery because I find like I'll play on teams where it feels like I'm kind of just an afterthought to be on that team. I'm like, this is not a great stage for growth. It's also maybe not like I don't agree with the mindset of the team.
I see.
Like, because listen, maybe I'm stingy, but if I'm paying like $200 something, I want to like be on the same page. Like, same page when it comes to winning, same page when it comes to like we're training on our off time. And it's not like, I'm not saying like pro league. I'm just like, hey, maybe don't show up 5 minutes before and play cold kind of thing. Like, I'm here at least 15. Like, let me get a stretch. Let me try.
Yeah.
I guess that's where it comes down to. Like, I want to find teams where like we have the same level of try. Because I don't really care about the skill. Like, I think I'm pretty honest with where I exist skill wise. It's not so much about the skill. I just want to be on a team that's going to try as hard as me.
Yeah.
Right?
That's totally fair. Yeah.
But I would love to find a team that matches my try that I can like advance with. Because I'm definitely not happy with where my skills are. I'm getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, you've come a very long way in a very short time. So, like, yeah, take your time, man. Like,
Thanks,
chill
man.
out.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
Chill out, man. Like, yeah. It's pretty cool, though, to watch you develop, especially in, like as a hitter, because playing hitter, you have to, like, pass and hit. For me, I was so siloed in setting and, like, so locked in on, like, wanting to be a better setter that's, like, everything else kind of just falls apart. And, like, now I'm at a stage of discovery similar to you as well, as like where it's like, okay, like I kind of want to go back into hitting just to like learn something fresh. Because I've come to a point with setting where I'm like, I don't want to set for like an intermediate league anymore. Like it's just like not fun. It's like,
I also think like your setting is already so good. Like I don't know any leagues that would challenge you to like have those leaps of growth that you had all the way up to this point, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely still get better. That's for sure. Like, no one's ever like perfect, right? And I still don't think I'm good enough to set for like 9-man or something like that, right? And like that's just kind of like another leap or bound that I have to take later on. But I'm kind of like peeling back a little bit and realizing that like, you know, like I'm just kind of like having fun. I'll play in a couple leagues here and there, and like I'm pretty satisfied. But if I want to play at an intermediate level, like I'd rather hit than set.
Yeah.
Just because I'm not saying that my setting is like advanced or anything, but it's just like the setting for intermediate just isn't fun in general because it's just like high ball here, high ball there, high ball here.
Yeah.
High ball there.
It's like the hitters can't really keep up with like the offense you want to run.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless, you know, you and me have what, probably 50,000 sets between us at this point. So
So it's like
we can run an offense.
Yeah. If you were on the inter team, it'd be different. Then you'd just be like, all right, like run whatever, you know? Yeah. Like we just run crazy shit. And that's the fun part. That's why I kind of like playing those recreational Saturday mornings too, just because we fuck around, try new things. And like, sometimes they're pretty fun.
The Indo style stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Just stay over there. I'll get it to
I'm
you.
gonna send it to you at mock fuck.
Yeah. You better fucking put your pork behind this shit. Yeah. But, yeah, I think that like running plays is definitely the fun part of being a setter and like being really crafty. But at an inter level, it's like your team will kind of just like not like when you dump.
Yeah.
Or like not like if you're trying to run a play that they don't really understand or like or they can't really keep up with. So yeah, I think like that's my dilemma. It's like especially if you're playing a league and the people aren't on the same page in terms of like winning, it's like you set like left, right, middle, left, right, middle, left, right, middle, and it's just like, you know, you cycle through the people so everyone gets touches. Whereas like once it comes to like tournament time or something, that's when it's like, okay, only set this guy. Like only set the right side.
Yeah.
And
in a dire situation, send it over to the left. And like that's the other thing is a lot of people don't have the mindset to understand like winning. Yeah. I've only met a few people that have the mindset of winning. Like, listen, if I'm on a team that's trying to win, the likelihood I'm probably going to get 1 out of 10 balls just to fuck with their middle and let them know that I can still maybe touch the ball.
Yeah.
But the majority of the time, I'm just running up, jumping early for a quick, and trying to keep the middle planted long enough to give a one-on-one to one of the wingers. I mean, that's my job, and if I do that, we have a better chance of winning.
Yeah, a lot of middles don't understand that is their job, and sometimes it kind of sucks, right? But like your main job is to block, and at an intermediate level, middles don't understand that. Middles are used to like a big high ball kill up the middle, you know? So
it's like No.
And that is fun. Don't get me wrong.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I love a little high ball up the middle at an intermediate level, but it's like if I'm at a tournament and I'm a middle, I'd be the worst middle ever. Like,
Yeah.
like hands down.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just weird. So like I've kind of like set myself back to an extent to like to challenge myself to go hit and pass again because I just like want to be a better overall player. And
I think
just
that's
like
where I'm at too. Is like I want to be. I mean, setting is fucking. That's a whole other game. But like being rounded out on the court in a non-specialty role, right? Like I want my passing to be good, just as good as my hitting.
Yeah,
my serving and all that.
I mean, like setting, you'll never really have to do like, especially in an intermediate level. So whatever.
Yeah.
Like
Chilling.
I would much rather be in a place where I can pass and hit than like be
Set
able
guys.
to set and not pass.
Yeah.
Or hit.
I know what you mean.
You know. So like I almost feel like I'm kind of in that place where I'm like, fuck, I can't pass for shit. I can't really hit that well. So like, what do I do? You know, I just like, so yeah, back into learning, and that's kind of the fun part. You know, like, anyways.
Yeah.
Once you get to a point where you're like, okay, I'm not learning here anymore, it's no longer fun.
Yeah.
The same with like careers and stuff too, right? Like, yeah, you always want to be challenged and trying new shit, and yeah, that's the fun.
That's our time, bro. We're at 52 minutes. Can you believe it?
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah,
Talked a lot.
That was a good chat. Yeah.
Is there anything? I mean, is there anything you want to plug? Your old YouTube channel?
Not really, but if you do want to check it out, it's what is it even called? I think it's like Atlantis Aquaria or Austin's Aquariums. It's one or the other. But yeah,
Hey,
that's just out of curiosity because I don't really care about the YouTube channel. I probably won't make another video for a while. Maybe I'll just spark one out. But yeah, nothing else to really plug. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's Mini Punches episode 5. Thank you, Austin, and see you next time.
Thanks a lot for having me on, man.
Yeah, man.
All right.
All right, bro. That's